What if one of the deepest taboos of our time, the intimate dynamic between husband and wife, is built on centuries of assumptions, not truth? What if the very foundation of sexual conduct in marriage is more habit than wisdom? Today, we confront the most difficult problem of the age, the proper relation of the sexes in wedlock. We now proceed to examine a subject rarely questioned, yet deeply consequential: the relationship between men and women within marriage. The present standard of morality in marriage is not divine decree, but the slow evolution of tradition. Few people even consider that a moral question exists when it comes to sexual relations between husband and wife. Once the marriage ceremony is performed, it is generally assumed that unlimited sexual gratification is not only a right, but a necessity. No logical reason supports this view, and none can truly be given. Some argue that unused muscles atrophy over time, and therefore sexual abstinence is harmful. While this is true for the muscles of the body, it does not apply to the reproductive system. Why? Because the reproductive system is not a muscular one at its core. It's an intricate network of blood vessels and glands designed to secrete fluids for a specific purpose. Controlling sexual function does not render the reproductive organs inactive. They continue their other biological functions. Just as we do not lose the ability to cry simply because we haven't wept in years, the body retains its reproductive capability without constant stimulation. Now, as a commentary on the real effects of excessive sexual indulgence, we turn to medical science. Dr. Orpheus Everts declares, "More hearts and arteries become permanently impaired by the overwork incidental to sexual indulgence than by all other causes." Dr. Mayer supports this, stating, "No disease or shortened lifespan can be ascribed to continence. Health does not require any emission of semen from puberty to death, even if that lifespan reaches 100 years. Frequent nocturnal emissions," he adds, "are evidence of debility and irritability incompatible with well-being." Dr. Joseph Hutchinson, a leading English authority, affirms, "Impotence is never the result of continence. But," he warns, "prolonged and ungratified sexual excitement can cause serious harm, often greater than normal indulgence." However, he clarifies that this excitement stems not from a physiological need, but from mental unrest, the mind obsessing over sensuality, which is wrong morally, mentally, and physically. He continues, "Sexual excitement caused by local disease or digestive issues is a morbid condition, aggravated, not relieved, by indulgence. A craving for gratification in such cases is no justification." Dr. Magee reinforces this, saying, "At the outset, sexual needs are not nearly as uncontrollable as often claimed. A little energetic willpower can restrain them." He compares blaming nature for such disorders to blaming it for an accidental sprain or fracture. Science supports a powerful conclusion: the reproductive system does not require constant use to remain healthy. In women, for instance, germ cells are released automatically. They do not need stimulation. In fact, physicians observe that many reproductive diseases result from excessive and unnecessary sexual activity. Let's take this further. A man's mental state alone can stimulate the overproduction of seminal fluid, filling the seminal vesicles, creating pressure and triggering desire. But without this constant mental stimulation, without the focus on sensual thoughts, this overproduction does not occur. Even nocturnal emissions, commonly thought to be a natural process, are not inevitable. Many men, such as the great scientist Newton, lived long lives without experiencing them. When a man avoids immoral influence, focuses on higher ideals, and surrounds himself with good company, these emissions cease. This proves a crucial point. We can control the production of semen through thought. Change your habits of mind, and you change the chemistry of your body. Dr. Charles states, "Sexual appetite is a physical phenomenon rooted in brain stimulation, not necessity. Whether triggered by memories, images, or even smells, it's a response, not a demand." He makes an important distinction. Sexual appetite is psychic. It arises in the mind. Erection, by contrast, is a reflex, and perhaps most significantly, he reminds us that environment plays a major role. What we read, what we see, who we spend time with, all influence sexual appetite. But this influence can be reversed. Environment can also restrain. If we think clearly, if we live rightly, semen would only be produced in response to the genuine need for procreation, not the pursuit of fleeting pleasure. And what is the cost of giving in to that fleeting pleasure? A weakened will, a loss of self-control, a life directed by impulse rather than purpose, a marriage less peaceful, less respectful, less whole. Married couples should recognize sexual desire begins in the mind, and the mind can be trained. The less we think of sensuality, the more joy we find in companionship. Whenever possible, husband and wife should sleep in separate rooms. If not, they should at least sleep in separate beds. This is not about emotional distance, it's about self-mastery. If the physical nearness of a spouse is too tempting, it is better, it is wiser, to sleep apart. In this way, the marriage becomes a partnership of souls, not simply bodies, a union not of desire, but of dignity. This is not repression, it is not denial, it is strength. And in that strength, we find a higher love, a deeper bond, and a more enduring peace.